Western Conference side. Now, this is, of course, one with a lot of tough teams. But this first game that we have here, the Suns versus the winner of the Pelicans and the Clippers, this is a no-brainer. You obviously got the Suns winning in 4. This is a sweep to me. I think the Suns are, seeking out that revenge from last season of not winning the championship. And this is,
Hmm.
to me, kind of almost the last hurrah for the Suns team, just in the terms of the fact that you have DeAndre Ayton, who's going to be in a contract negotiation battle, trying to get that supermax. Obviously, the Suns are not budging on that, and that's going to create a lot of friction and turmoil, more so in the years to come for the Suns team. You have Devin Booker, who's been playing really well, and I think this is the final hurrah for this team. And so I think when I look at that, I can definitely see them trying to go and win it this year. Obviously, go make a deep run. I think it's going to start with whenever they play their first game, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be a sweep.
Yeah, I think whoever they play as well in the first, it's going to be a sweep. Yeah, I agree. They're going to sweep whoever they play. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, but I'm not sold on them winning it all though. I'll say that. But
Yeah,
that's all I got.
yeah, I agree. I don't think I'm sold on them winning it yet, but I think it's that idea that this is going to be their last, like I said, their last
Right.
battle, the last run before they, depending on the role players, obviously their money. You also have, like I said, Aiton with his money situation as well.
Yeah, because if they don't win this whole thing, like they have to blow it up because there's so many guys who want more money and they took pay cuts and cut their salaries in half and things of that nature. So, and Chris Paul's getting older, so this is all or nothing in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah. But they'll be
So
good for years to come, though.
yeah, I'm sure that they'll be a competitive team. I think Monty Williams. There's also rumors of him going to LA. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Just due to
No,
the
they would
fact
have
that
to probably give him $100 million deal or something
yeah.
crazy.
And let's move on to the next round, Tyrese. This is a very interesting one, just due to the fact that a big injury has happened to Luka Doncic. Obviously, with the calf strain, he's going to be out for game 1, and apparently he could be out for game 2. Like, there's jeopardy of him not playing in that game 2. And this could be a huge momentum for the Utah Jazz, knowing that basically the player that they kind of build their team around, that run the offense around, and Luka Doncic
Hmm.
is going to be out. And so I could see this potentially being a huge momentum swing for the Jazz, and I
Yeah,
could see them winning the series because I think without Luca, this Mavs team is definitely not the same, right? They do too many pick and rolls, and with Luca having the ball too much in his hands, I definitely don't see this team, replacing putting Brunson in and he's doing the same type of things Luca's doing.
yeah, I agree. I think this is an advantage for the Jazz. I have them winning game one. And if Luca's not back game two, then they might as well just rest him up and get him back healthy next year because it's over. I mean, at that point, if he's not ready to go game two, he's most likely not going to be able to go game three.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think the Jazz will build momentum from last year, the trauma they went through. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good series though. I think they can potentially even win a game without Luca just because they're very good defensively and
Yeah.
they love playing with one another. But the first game, I think it's gonna be a blowout.
Wow.
Yeah,
Blowout.
I have them winning in 7.
Damn. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I see that. I see that.
No,
Yeah.
I have the Jazz. Yeah, the Jazz I meant to
Yeah.
say, sorry.
Yeah, I think the Jazz, the only thing they have to kind of make sure is that I think this team is obviously built, obviously healthier, with Mike Conley having his injuries bug the last couple of years. Hopefully they can stay healthy in that sense. And, I think this is another thing too, is that I think the Jazz are trying to prove like we can be a playoff team because they've obviously been the top 4 seed the last couple of years. They've been, kind of embarrassed in the playoffs. I think this is going to be a time where the Jazz are looking to make up for those embarrassing moments and actually compete and contend in this playoff series. And so I also have the Jazz in 7. I think that
Mhm.
this could be definitely a one where the Jazz move on to the next round. And then
Yeah.
let's move on to the next game, the Warriors versus the Nuggets. We have,
Ooh.
this obviously, with the Nuggets not getting back Jamal Murray, not getting back Michael Porter Jr., it's definitely going to be
Hmm.
the Jokic show, and that's it. Meanwhile, the Warriors are dealing with their own injuries with Steph Curry, probable for the next game. And then you obviously have Wiseman, who probably won't play this year, in my opinion. I think that he's just too hurt. I know that he's been advancing
Yeah.
to 5-on-5, and then he had a setback, and I think that's what's going to happen now again. Is that I think there's going to be too many setbacks for him to actually play in the playoffs, and so I
Hmm.
I, I think that this is actually going to be a lot closer than people think. I think this is going to be a 6-game series.
Wow,
I think
really?
I think the Warriors obviously win it, but I think Jokic is going to prove to everyone why he deserves the next MVP. And I think he is going to win it.
Mm, okay. That's very bullish. You're very bullish on me, man. I thought they were gonna sweep. I think they're gonna sweep them.
The Warriors.
Even with Curry, yeah, man. I think with the band back together, Wiggins in the crew, I don't know if Iguodala will be good to go, but they'll have a old school death lineup back.
Hmm.
I think they're scary, man. They could potentially knock Phoenix off, and if they knock Phoenix off, they can win it all. They just have that so much championship DNA, and
Hmm.
they're nothing to play with.
Yeah,
Um,
like you said with the Warriors, I think that they are probably one of the best teams in the NBA right now. Just roster wise, I think that they have everything. My
mhm.
question for them will always be just like, can Steph Curry stay healthy? Because we obviously seen the playoff record with Steph Curry in terms of his numbers. They obviously are not the same compared to his regular season numbers. Um, and I just want to know like, can they be okay with that? Because they were okay with that a couple years back, with the younger team. But then you also have to remember Klay Thompson is not the same like player, even though he's not like an explosive athlete or anything like that. He still has the injuries that he had to deal with. And then of course, uh, like I said, without their X factor in Wiseman, I think it's going to be a tough ask, especially when you go off the bench. Like those guys can present problems, but at the same time, that's my only concern about. I would say the Warriors.
Yeah, and the second concern is Steph's health.
Hmm.
If he's not 100% and he somehow gets hurt, I think the Nuggets could potentially beat him in six. If there's some type of hiccup in the game two or something like that,
Hmm.
But if he's healthy, I think they'll sweep him. Or even if because he's going to be on a minutes restriction, I still think they'll sweep him. I just think they're too deep. With Wiggins back and the way Poole's playing, there's just no way it's going six, man. If even if when Clay on a minutes restriction, I think they're gonna sweep him. If they have Michael Porter Jr., maybe they'll go six, but they have him out. So, and I think Morris is kind of banged up a little bit. So, um, yeah, I think they're gonna sweep him. But it'll be competitive though. Like a couple games will be close, and then
Hmm.
some will be by 10 or more, but I just see them getting swept and then regrouping in the off season.
Yeah, I think that for the Nuggets for sure. I think they're obviously going to be a team that regroups in the offseason, tries to figure out what they're going to do. Like we talked about before in this episode, the charge. What they do with Jamal Murray, like do they trade him and other things like that. And we've gone into that conversation. So if you guys are interested in that conversation, go find that video. I think it was a couple videos ago. I'll put it in the chat as we continue talking about these other teams. But like you said, they're gonna have to figure something out in the offseason. And so but I do
Oh,
think that Jokic at the time, I think that he can at least get them to that because I think he is that good. Obviously, he's not going to be a guy that takes over the game by scoring, but I think just by his presence of creating those opportunities, creating stuff for his teammates. Again, his teammates are going to have to play A1 in order for that to happen. And that's something that obviously with role players, you don't know if they can do that um, in terms of being consistently the player that they need him to be throughout 7 games in the series. And so we'll find out moving forward. But like you said, I think the Warriors are too deep, and they obviously will win that series no matter how many games it takes. Mm.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Not to go off topic, but I guess Clint Capella, he just got hurt, man. He's walking back to the locker room, so yeah, it's not looking good for the Hawks, but yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think, but to go back to what we were saying, yeah, they're gonna finish him, I think.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I don't think
Or
that there's going to be any. I don't think there's gonna be if ands or buts for the Warriors. They're gonna probably win that series. And then we can move on to
Mhm.
the next series that we can talk about for the Western Conference. and that is of course the Grizzlies and Timberwolves. The Grizzlies obviously being the most surprising story of the NBA. Last year,
Mm-hmm.
going into the playing game against the Warriors, winning that playing game, earning that spot to play in the playoffs. And I think it really did help them. I think those guys that were in there playing, you could see that they definitely have grown up and matured a lot faster than I think a lot of other teams have. And you can
Mm-hmm.
see the way that they played this year, like how much more players have stepped up in their roles. Like I said, Desmond Bain obviously probably should
Man.
be winner of the most improved, but I think they're probably going to give it to John Morant just because of his explosive outbursts in terms of offense and things like that. And so I think for me, like this Grizzlies team is so good. I don't see the Timberwolves giving them that much of a problem. I think it might go five
Mm-hmm.
games, but at the end of the day, I think the Grizzlies are a really good team and a team that really should be scary going into the playoffs this season. Because I do like their team, I do like their roster makeup, and I think they can make some noise in this NBA playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. The Grizzlies, they give me Suns vibes last year without the Chris Paul vet and like their
Hmm.
team. They're gonna probably get to maybe the second round, and I think they're gonna lose to Golden State. Um, Great team though, very great team, but they just don't have the experience, and that's gonna play a role. Winning regular season games is one thing, but
Hmm.
going deep and beating championship teams. So it's night and day, and I just don't think they're ready. They're too young, Like to go back what you were saying, they kind of have that OKC 2015, 2016, or yeah, no, way before then. Actually, before that,
The
that
2012.
old 2012. Yeah, so they have that kind of mojo to them, but I just don't think they're ready after the first round.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how like a guy like Zaire Williams, who hasn't played yet for this team. At least I don't think he's played that much. I can double check and just fact check myself. Obviously played 8.1 points per game, 2.1 rebounds, 1 assist per game. I think he could be
Mhm.
something in the near future. But like when I look at this roster, like yes, they are a very young team. You have Desmond Bain at 23, Culliver at 23, Yvzi Pons at 22. And obviously John Morant being 22, but they have Steven Adams, who's been a huge X factor for them. I like him. Kyle Anderson, a veteran in this team. I just like the makeup of this team. They also have Dylan Brooks taking that next step. Not saying that he's going to be a superstar, but still a
No,
good
he's a
player.
great role player. Yeah.
And so I do think that this team could take the Warriors to the edge of their playoff
Really?
series.
Really? I don't know, man.
I
I just think when you're getting to that point in the second round, the game slows down, man. And that's going to be great for Iguodala, man. They're going to run that death lineup to the T because the Grizzlies, they run real fast, man, because they're a young team. They're athletic. But let me tell you something. If Curry's healthy and they go against him in the second round, it's not going to be good for them because the game is going to be slowed down. And they're not going to be able to run all up and down, get all those calls. If they're yelling to the refs, they might not get back in transition. I just think if they play them, it's their lunch meat. They might even get swept because they're going to be so
mm,
frustrated. Um, yeah, I mean they're a great team though. Hats off to them and their head coach, and he might win uh, coach of the year, but that's a different beast when you're going against goal. When you're going against them and you got to go in that crowd and the game is slowed down and everyone's healthy. I like the young team. I like Bane, but man,
I
I'm
I
telling
think
you,
I think the series gives me that Sacramento Kings Lakers vibes from like the 02, I believe it was 02. When obviously we could talk about the controversial calls in those games, but this is what it gives me the vibe of, and I think that this team is similar to that King, and maybe not similar to the Kings team, but in terms of I think that they do have the makeup to at least contend with the Warriors. Again, I think the Warriors are going to be missing a little bit of their players are going to be missing a little bit of what they need.
Von
Obviously,
Looney, is he hurt?
Kevon Looney is
Oh no, he's good. He just played on the 10th.
he's good, but I think that Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be an X factor for this team. Being able to switch on to guys like Steph Curry and not be able to get shifted by them, and obviously with Steph Curry not being fully 100% healthy, I think this is going to be a lot closer than people think. I do like the whole
Wow.
makeup of this team, man. I think they have I think they have the pieces to kind of be disruptors in the playoffs.
Nah, man, like I understand where you're coming from, but when you're going up there to the Bay and Frisco and that Chase Center Arena during this time, they it's been a drought in there. I don't know if those young Bulls can really hold their emotions together in a high stake environment like that, and they're going to be flying too. If Curry's coming back healthy during the second round and they play, they're going to be flying up that court. And can they guard that three? Because Clay can drop 50. And if he drops 50 and Curry drops 30, that's 80, right? Or even if they drop 30, that's 60. So I don't know, man. Like it's gonna be tough. I think Golden State will beat them in five though. If they do play in the second round, I think they'll beat them in five.
Yeah.
But they're a great young team though. I like them a lot. But when
Yeah.
you're going against your coaching staff like there, like
Um.
like Kerr, who's been there, and come on, this guy's won championships all his life, and he's won three within the last 5 years. 6 years. That coach hasn't won anything. Those coaches, they haven't won anything. They never been in the bright lights. They never been palms are sweaty with 2 minutes left and it's tied up. They haven't been there. I'm not. John Morant's a good player, but he's not going to outplay Steph. And Desmond Bain isn't going to outplay Clay. So that
I don't think they necessarily have to outplay them, but I think what helps them out a lot more is that the fact that I do think that they're going to move a little bit more in transition. I think that they're young, they can keep up with the Steph Curry and their sort of fast break offense that they run. I do like this team a lot. I think the Grizzlies are getting slept on a little bit just for the fact that they, like I said, are a young team with a lot of,
yeah, they
especially with their superstar being the youngest out of the whole group between the two
and,
teams. And
mhm.
we'll find out about the Warriors, man. Are those fans even Warriors fans? Are they gonna come back from their
Oh
Bucks
man,
in Milwaukee?
I'm
Are they
from the
come from
Bay.
Milwaukee and they're gonna change their allegiance now?
Nah, man, they're real, bro. Listen, when they play in Chase Center Arena and Game One on Sunday, that place is going to be fired up. It's going to be. Come on, man. You got all the tech guys sitting courtside, flying in from everywhere, and even people who are from San Francisco and Silicon Valley, dude. They're going to be. Everyone's going to be there. E40, you name it. It's going to be a packed house, and they're going to be ready. And so that's what I'm saying. If they play Memphis, which I think they will, in the second round, they're not going to beat them. They're going to be nice, like they're going to be cool, but they might keep it close. But they're going to unravel fast. I think they're going to unravel. They're
Never
just
under
not tested. They're not battle tested. They never been in the trenches like that, like in a big environment when the brights are light. I mean, the
Yeah,
lights are, the light, yeah.
I get
So,
you. But
yeah,
I still
they
think
never
that
been there.
last year's playoff series that the Grizzlies were in helped them a lot. Not saying that it's like not something that like is going to carry them to like the NBA finals, but I do think it's a
Yeah.
great starting point for them to make a deep run. And whether it's this year or next year, I think that the Memphis Grizzlies team is here to stay because they have a lot of those guys that are still under contract and will be in the near future. And then once you have to start paying guys, that's going to be a whole different story. But I do think that the owner is committed to this team, and when you have a committed owner like the Warriors fans have had the last couple of years, um,
Hmm.
I think you'll see some great things from this Grizzlies team. But I do think that they'll keep
They,
it competitive.
no, they will be good, man. They'll be good. I just don't know how long they'll be able to keep the band together just because Jaren Jackson's going to want his money. You know what I'm saying? And then Ja's going to probably want damn near 200 million. And then all the other guys, Desmond Bane's been balling. So he's going to want, I don't know if they
Hmm.
can keep the whole band together like that because they're a small market team, right? They could go over the luxury, but I just don't know, right? Like like the Warriors when they went out and got KD, it made sense because even though they were kind of a small market team, they were based in the Bay Area, so they had money behind them in a way, and they risked it,
Yeah.
and they already won a championship. But Memphis keeping the group together, I don't know because last year they weren't even that good, right? They were decent, but they weren't that good. They kind of remind me of us when we had that run. We were good, but we weren't experienced. And when you're getting deeper and the palms are sweaty, that's how we lost game 7. We just weren't ready. We're too young. That matters. You can't just have a whole bunch of young guys flying around. They're talented, but I'm going to sound like a broken record when that game slows down and you're not getting calls and you're not used to this. You're going to unravel. So I just
Yeah.
think the Warriors all the way in 5.
I feel it. But let us know, everybody, in the comment section down below. What do you guys make of that series? Do you have the Memphis Grizzlies winning that, or do you have the Golden State Warriors winning if that is the matchup that's going to be in the conference semis? We would love to know your opinions in the comment section down below. And then, Tyrese, to kind of end this video off and just to kind of end this series, we're just going to kind of list some injuries that have been going on for basically the whole NBA, and then we'll kind of sign out of here. The news rumors is Paul George obviously entered COVID protocols. He's out. Luka Doncic ruled out for game 1, like we talked about earlier.
Pandemic P.
Pandemic P strikes again. You also have Jared Allen expected to return from a broken finger. That's obviously going to be a huge one. You have Ben Simmons, like we talked about. Kevin Durant says he's not expecting him to play. Everyone that's Woj, that's Shams, is saying, no, this dude's playing. I don't know what to believe anymore with that guy. Like, I don't know whether he's healthy, whether he's not healthy. I just don't know what to expect from him. And so, the one thing that I will say, talking a little bit about the injuries, is that I think it does suck that these guys are not healthy and playing in these games, because I would love to see teams at full strength. And obviously, with Paul George, his COVID protocol is just
Yeah.
it just tells me everything I need to know. It's not very
Right,
good.
yeah.
It's
Right.
yeah. And then obviously Luka out sucks, because I think the Mavericks fans want to see a deep playoff run with this team, but we're
Yeah,
just
I
gonna
was
have to wait and
shocked at
see.
that one. Yeah, I was shocked at that one. Yeah, he's injured. Who else is there out there injured? There's another guy injured. I'm trying to think. Um, Tim. I think those are probably like the two guys that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, obviously Lou Williams is out, and then, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but you
Yeah, it
know,
is.
and then in terms of other news, you also have LaMelo Ball. He's going to switch to number 1 next season. The reason why he kept that number is because Malik Monk was number 1, and he was still on the
Yeah,
team
I
at the
seen
time,
that.
and so he'll be there.
What do you what do you think about the Pelicans? Did we talk about the Pelicans and Clippers game tonight?
No, I don't think we did, but we can talk about it quickly to sign off the
Okay.
chat as this game goes live in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
I think that in that series, I think you got the Pelicans winning, man. Like, as much as I think the Clippers have, uh, better players surrounding their the star players. The problem is that those star players are
Hmm.
gone. They're hurt, and so
Right.
when you need them the most, when you need them to come out, and I think that the Lakers, or not the Lakers, but I think the Clippers team probably could have kept hush hush on the protocol for Paul George, but they didn't. Kind of
Yeah.
kind of shows me that maybe they just want to lose this game and just try to get a nice draft pick. At least that's what it tells
Poss-
me.
yeah, possibly. I honestly think they could. I don't know. Like my brain is telling me the Pelicans, but they played a lot of games without him. I wouldn't be shocked if they win this game tonight. They're very good defensively, and the what's it called? If the Pelicans aren't hitting their mid jump shots, because they're not really a 3-point team. They rely a lot on mid jump shots, so they're going to have a lot of length with Terrence Mann and Marcus Morris
Mm-hmm.
mid, in the mid jump range. So if they're not hitting their middies, then I think they could potentially lose. And then I think all the other guys that have 15 to 17 points. I think it's going to be a very good game tonight. I just don't know if the only thing with the Pelicans is they're a very bad road team. So I'm curious to see how they're going to be on the road, because they're atrocious on the road. They're not very much good. And so yeah, that's the only thing that's kind of, even without Paul George, is having me kind of lean the Clippers a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. But it's going to be a hell of a game tonight. It's going to be a great game. I just think they're going to be fired up and everyone's counting them out. The odds when Paul George was there, they were favored by 4. Then once he got hurt, they were underdogs now. So I think they're looking at all that, and I think they could potentially beat them. They just have a little bit more experience, or way more experience, honestly, than the Pelicans and their head coaching staff. So,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be shocked if Pelicans pull it off. But it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be competitive. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
who on the Clippers team. Maybe Terrence Mann, Reggie Jackson. Maybe they take over
I
the
mean,
game.
they have a lot of guys though. Like they have Nicholas Batum. He might not get you 30 or 25, but he can get you probably 15, right? And like some boards. Like that's good enough, right? And you have all these other guys contributing. All those points add up when you play together
Hmm.
as a team. When you
Yeah,
just have Brandon Ingram and CJ and you're relying on them to hit their mid jump shots and they're not hitting, they're in trouble because
yeah.
they're not a 3-point shooting team. So the game is going to be very low scoring. It's going to be, and they don't have defense either. The Pelicans, they
Hmm.
don't have no type of defense, man. So I'm curious to see how this game's going to go. Everyone's on the hype train with them, but I don't know. Like I think the Clippers could pull it off, maybe.
Yeah, and let us know, everybody, in the comment section down below, or in the live chat if you're live with us now, and just let us know who you think is going to win this series, who you think is going to win this game. This is obviously going to be a great matchup between the two teams. Obviously, with the Clippers being clipped up a little bit with their injuries, you have the Pelicans as well, kind of, basically playing above, punching above their weight, if you will, just with
Yeah,
the that they've been
that's fair
playing.
to say.
Obviously, the Zion stuff has been a distraction, I believe,
Yeah.
purposely done by the stepfather and Zion to kind of take the thunder away from the
Like,
Pelicans. So
yeah, I wonder what's up with that whole thing. Like that just came out today, I think. So like what do you think's going on? Just to say, like, let's just talk about that really quick before we get out of here. What is your thoughts on the Pelicans thinking something, or they're thinking his injury's not that big of a deal, then the training staff and Zion is thinking he's not ready. What do you think about that? Like, do you think it's
I think
you know
he's sitting down, sipping on whatever his Mountain Dew that he has a commercial on. Uh, I think that in the Cheez-Its commercial that he has, and eating
man,
some.
State Farm?
Yeah, I mean, for me, what I think it is more so. I think he's waiting to go to New York. He's probably going to be the first. He's
Wow.
going to be the first player in a very long time to reject the rookie extension and go to New York, because I don't think that he
You
wants to be in the small market of the Pelicans. I don't, because you can
I
tell,
think
but
so too.
he just doesn't have that desire to like be the face of the Pelicans franchise. Like, I watch the local games through the League Pass, and that's what's awesome about League Pass, is that you can see the commercials and try to figure out, okay,
Hmm.
is he really about being a Pelicans player, or is he kind of off it? And the more commercials I see in Louisiana, I just don't see Zion. I see everyone else, and I just think that that's frustrating as a. I would say that'd be frustrating as a fan to see that your star player does not want to play for you.
Man, and that's the best thing they had since AD. And it's like I think he's trying to. I think you're right. He's trying to force his way out of there. New York's interesting though. Wow, that could be right though because things aren't going right, and uh, if he goes to New York, that could be prime time, man. He would be box office for sure. Like he would
Mm-hmm.
be the king of he would be the king of New York, like for
Yeah,
sure. Like
not
he would.
Takashi.
Nah,
Not.
not Takashi, man. He would for sure be the guy for the Knicks. They would very since Carmelo, like
Yeah.
Julius Randle, he was nothing compared to what this kid could potentially be.
Yeah.
And then too, they would fill so many seats, even losing. It just makes sense from a
Mm-hmm.
business standpoint. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna probably force his way out of there, man. He's doing 360 windmill dunks on water boys, and then he's saying he's injured. It's like, what's really going on, right?
Yeah, and I think
So
he is a little bit hobbled, and I think that's due to the fact that he just doesn't maintain his body weight. Like he
yeah, he's unhealthy.
yeah,
You can tell he's eating probably a box of pizza and like 2 Big Macs every day. Like I know he's a big guy, but dude, he grew like 60 pounds within like what, a year?
yeah.
Like, and he's young. He's only what, 21? Like, he's only what, 21 or 22 years old. So
I think 21 years old, and he's yeah,
yeah, his
he
metabolism, dude.
it's failing him.
Yeah, it's failing him. And but I think he's doing psychology on them. He's trying to force his way out. But New Orleans is so hungry for selling tickets. You see,
Yeah,
that's the reason why I think they went and got CJ, because I think they know he's out of there.
yeah,
They're going
I
to try to get
agree.
all the assets they can, and they're happy and with what CJ and Bi are doing. But yeah, he's going to be out of there, man. He's, like you say, he's probably going to the
Yeah,
Knicks. So
yeah.
yeah, we'll see. This offseason is going to be interesting.
This offseason will be interesting. And for everybody out there, thank you once again for joining us here on The Charge. We do appreciate you joining us, giving you the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. Obviously, talking today about the basketball opinions that we had today on the playoffs. Let us know in the comment section down below who wins these playoff series. Who is your team? Who's your sleeper? Who's your dark horse? You know, let us know who you guys think is going to win this playoff series moving forward into the future. And like I said, thank you, Tyrese, for coming on the show. Always appreciate you, giving your knowledge and information out there to the people out here on the Charge community. Always appreciative.
Yeah, man, no problem. I love doing it whenever we have time. And now it's getting real in the fields because it's here. So we're gonna have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of news to talk about in the coming days and weeks. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. And like I said, let us know in the comment section down below as well. Like, what other topics do you want to talk about? Obviously, I'll read the comment section and try to figure out where the audience likes to kind of view. Do they like more news? They like more rumors? They like more analytical stuff? I'm obviously talking to my friends as well about like what's best for the channel. But obviously, what's best is what you guys like. And so, like I said, let us know in the comment section down below what's that going to be. And with that being said, thank you once again for joining us here on The Charge. Please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We appreciate you coming through whenever you did, and we'll catch everybody on the next episode. Peace out, everybody.